now, they've brought out something called PACE. I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know how long it's been going. I think it's been going quite a long time. I've only ever been arrested, really, under PACE. So I thought, well, I'll have a look at PACE and see what it is. Now, on one hand, they're telling you that you have the right to remain silent at all times, so I exercise that right, and I tell them I'm exercising the right and I don't speak anymore. But then I've been looking at this PACE thing. And what PACE is, it stands for Police and Criminal Evidence Act. So, I've been pulled at the side of the road before. I won't give them any details. I'm not obliged to. I don't speak. And they arrest me under PACE. So, what I'm looking for is solutions. How can we stop PACE happening? I found a way. I looked at what PACE is. Now, it's an act. Police and Criminal Evidence Act. So, it's a statute. So, it's consensual, isn't it? It has to be because it's a statute. So, I looked at the title, Police and Criminal Evidence Act. So, the word criminal appears in the title of an act. Now, an act deals with statutory offences. So, it's not criminal, is it? So, I once got arrested through PACE, realised it's Police and Criminal Evidence Act, went inside the police station, got as far as the little waiting room. There's a little waiting room. You go through the back of the cop shop, in the van. I didn't get cuffed or anything. Through the cop shop, through the back entrance. Ooh, that sounds dodgy. Through the back entrance, into a small waiting room, and then the other side of this automatic glass, there's a desk sergeant. So I got as far as the waiting room. I've been arrested under PACE. The desk sergeant asked me to come over, and I said, sorry, can you come over here? And I couldn't believe it. He came from behind his desk and came into the waiting room. So whenever he's doing that, I know I've got the upper hand. And all I said to him is, am I under arrest? He said, yeah. I said, what for? He said, well, you've been arrested under PACE. I said, what's PACE? And he said, well, it's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. I went, right. I said, so it's a Criminal Evidence Act? He went, yeah. I said, so am I a criminal? And he said, well, we don't know that yet. I said, so I'm not a criminal. He says, well, we're going to establish that. I said, well, hang on a minute. Didn't your probable cause establish that? I've actually been arrested now, have I not? He said, yeah. I said, am I a criminal? He said, we don't know yet. So I said, am I free to go? He went, no. I said, are you detaining me? He said, yes. Sorry, but this is how the conversation went. I said, what are you detaining me for? He said, Police and Criminal Evidence Act. I said, am I a criminal? He said, no. I said, thank you very much, I'm going to get off now. He said, you can't. I said, why? He says, because you're under arrest. I said, what for? He says, PACE. I said, am I a criminal? He said, no. So it went on, and eventually I walked out, and they let me walk out. So, the only time I spoke is when I realised it's Police and Criminal Evidence Act. So it was like Punch and Judy, that wasn't it? Sorry about that, but that's how it went. And the number one thing is, he didn't see any fear in my eyes. And every time I've been arrested, there is no fear. I don't have any fear, because I know I can either shut up, not say a word, do me 2 or 3 days, get bailed, go to court, and try and head court off, or try and go in court and beat them. Or, now, I will speak now. I used to be afraid of speaking and giving my name and stuff. I'm not bothered now, because Rob Freeman, I didn't used to give him a name, but now they can call me Rob Freeman, they can call me Mr. Rob Freeman, I don't care, because the next time I get arrested, which I hope's not for another 25 zillion years, but I've got a feeling it might be sometime in the next couple of years, I'm not only going to use the criminal bit of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, I'm not only going to exercise my rights to keep quiet, but I'm also going to use the trust relationship, because the policeman and woman are holding court at the side of the road, and what are they treating us as, and what are we acting like? Trustees again. They're public servants, they work for us, but what do? They step forward to administer policy and treat us like trustees, don't they? And we act like trustees, but no more. Side of the road next time. In fact, I think I mentioned this, I did this with 2 coppers. I was stood, I think it was in town again, some mad display or something, some silly acrobats or jugglers or something. A man and woman copper came over to me, started asking me some questions, and I said, sorry, I'm obliged to speak to you. And they said, well, no, not at this stage. And I said, well, thanks very much, I don't want to speak. It was nothing to do with me, I've not been doing anything. And they said, why don't you want to speak? I think we're only passing time of day. And I said, because it's a trust relationship, you're my trustees, you work for me, I haven't got time, and I don't particularly want to speak, and they just walked away. So I don't think they particularly understood it, the ins and outs, but they realised that I know my rights. So I thought I'd share that bit with you.